So that day is upon us. It's the champions versus the Premier League leaders on Derby Day. So, Steve, what do you feel about the Derby going into it?
I'm all right, you know. Obviously, what happened at Villa plays a big part in the thinking and the way that the club, Liverpool, that is, will look at the game. I don't suppose we'll start that poorly again. That would be something that's very much at the forefront of their minds. We'll start well. We'll start positively. We'll be on the front foot. I think we'll try and do what we did against Arsenal and Chelsea, which is play most of the football in Everton's half, and by that way, you absolutely control the game. You're doing what you want to do. We need to worry about ourselves and not worry about them. I think we worried a little bit too much about Aston Villa and the form they were in and the confidence they had, and we never really got going. So hopefully we'll right those wrongs come Derby Day, and we'll show Everton what it's like to be a top team, eh?
So, Jamie, how do you feel about going into the match?
I feel relatively confident, mate. I mean, the Villa game was a bit of an oddity. We started off in a very lethargic fashion. Never really got going. Villa capitalised on that nicely. Obviously, Everton have got off to a bit of a flyer this season, but they're yet to really face anybody of our calibre. And to be quite honest with you, I think we'll have too much for them on the day.
So how do you see the game panning out, Steve? How do you think it'll go?
Well, it's not at home, it's at Goodison, so obviously the Everton will want to play on that factor. Fans or no fans, we still have home and away fixtures. We're more comfortable around Anfield, they're more comfortable around Goodison. That goes without saying. I think the game will go, they'll come out, try and start quick. I think we have to stop them. Similar to what Jamie just said a couple of moments ago, when you've got a front three like ours, and I expect our front three to be firing, and I'm hoping Mane's back, do you ask more questions, or you should ask more questions than we did at Villa Park? And I think we'll get back to what we do well. We have to. We haven't become a bad team overnight. That is a freak result. So in my view, it'll be well contested. Everton have got a strong midfield. We'll have to deal with the threat of James and down the left-hand side of Richarlison and Digne. But we have to deal with that. We have to deal with somebody in every team. It's no different. Everton have just got a couple more and a bit of confidence to play with. So I think come the end of the game, mate, I think we'll be okay. That said, when we asked for the thoughts on the Aston Villa game, I said, despite the absences, we'd have too much quality and we'd win. So what do I know? But my gut feeling is we'll be all right. I can't see us coming out and playing that badly a second time.
How do you see it panning out, Jamie?
I think it'll be a quick start. I think we'll be looking to fly out of the blocks. Obviously, it's a Merseyside derby, notorious for a bit of pace and a bit of passion. Ancelotti has got a well-drilled side put together there, very well-drilled. But I just think we're going to be too quick, especially on the back of the Villa result. The players have got a massive point to prove to themselves before anybody else. So yeah, I honestly think it's going to be quite an expansive game, quite open. I know Ancelotti's got a reputation for being quite pragmatic, so it's interesting to see whether they try and utilise their new sort of forward momentum, or if he tries to nullify our strengths. That'll be interesting to see. Regardless, I don't see that they're going to get over the line with us. I see nothing other than a Liverpool win, mate.
What team do you think he'll select, Steve? What do you reckon team? Do you think Klopp?
I think he will go with Adrian in goal, as we've alluded to in previous pods. I would hope that in the meantime we do something from the EFL. Notably, Jack Butland would be a welcome addition to the club on a short-term loan, because you get the confidence that the guy can use his feet. He can use his feet well, to be fair to the lad. I think it'll be Adrian in goal. I think the full-backs will be, as they always are, it'll be Trent and it'll be Robbo. I think Joe Gomez might miss this one. If Matip's fit, I suspect Matip might play, and if Matip's not fit, he might drop Fabinho back into the back four to play alongside Van Dijk. Gomez strikes me as a guy that's a little bit out of sorts with his game at the moment and needs some reflection time. Doesn't do anybody any harm to be substituted or dropped. Nobody who ever played football has a divine right to play, and sometimes you just need a little reminder of what it is to maintain the standards and keep playing in the way that we've all come to expect from him. Midfield, if Fabinho doesn't play in defence, I see him and Henderson and Thiago playing. I think Henderson might play a slightly more advanced role, but on the right-hand side, still to offer that protection, because that will be Everton's focus will be their left. I think we'll almost go with a double pivot of Thiago and Fabinho. What's interesting for me in the selection of Thiago is that we'll try and play a longer transition against Everton. We won't use the ball by carrying the ball. We'll use the ball by moving the ball. The ball travels faster than you can run anyway. So to have Thiago pick up the ball and be splitting the defence with 40-yard passes, 30-yard passes is going to work better than playing the ball into Bobby's feet when he's heavily marked by Keane and Yerry Mina, and try to work it around the corners to Mane, who hopefully will be fit, and Salah. So that answers my front three. I think we'll go with the three amigos, the three guys that we're used to playing with, Mane, Salah and Firmino. There is an argument to say Bobby's a bit out of form, and he is, but he sets a very high standards to measure him by, and we mustn't forget that. But if we were to play Jota in the middle, how would he play with his back to goal, receiving the ball on the right side? He's very much a left-footed player. That we don't know. We don't see what happens at Melwood. They might be trying that, they might not be. And then there's obviously Minamino, who could come in and play in Bobby's role. But I don't think Minamino's a particularly effective false nine. I think he's more of a 10. I go with the front three being the front three that we've all fell in love with for the last 3 or 4 years. You know, those three are electric, and they'll want to prove something as much as anybody. So usual suspects with the inclusion of Thiago, mate, for me.
Same to you, Jamie. What team do you reckon Klopp will go with?
Yeah, for me, I got a funny feeling he's going to go with Gomez again. If Matip is fit enough and he can prove himself to be fit enough, I would like to go with Matip. Obviously, there is the potential to have Fabinho there on the right side of centre half. Obviously, he's got history of being a right back, so he could be really good cover for Trent and have a natural sort of positional awareness to cover him as and when he sort of moves up the flanks. So that's another option. I think the midfield will be Thiago. I can't see anything other than Thiago starting. Again, I think there'll be a lot with Lucas Digne pushing up heavily, because Everton are quite reliant on the width provided by their fullbacks. His level of distribution will be integral, especially with Salah and Mane. Obviously exploiting the spaces in behind. So yeah, I think Hendo, it's a game for Henderson. We're going to need that leadership on the pitch. So him, I think Gini, Thiago, and then again, like Steve, I think it will just be the usual group of Bobby, Sadio, and Mo up top. I think that's going to be more than enough, mate. That's a front line that Everton are not yet used to facing this season. So it might be interesting to see how they deal with it.
Steve, who do you think are the danger men for Everton? Who are the guys that we need to look out for?
Well, obviously James. He started really, really well for Everton. I don't think you could ever look at James Rodriguez and say he lost his form. He went to Real Madrid. He never really got into the Real Madrid team, to be fair. But then went to Bayern Munich, and he found it difficult at Bayern Munich. He's a great signing. What Ancelotti will have done is put his arm around him, tell him he loves him, and tell him he's going to build a team around him. And with the ability the guy's got, that makes perfect sense. So he's an obvious threat. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a threat, a guy who I've got a little bit of respect for, in the sense that he joined for not much money from Sheffield United a little while ago. And he's worked hard and he's put the effort in. And I can only respect a player that makes up for a lack of natural talent's not fair, but he's worked really, really hard to improve his game, and he's reaping the rewards. And again, England cap tonight. Fair play to him; he deserves one. He's in form. I said before, Lucas Digne will be a factor. I think much the same as other teams have done that have set up against Liverpool recently. They're going to target the right side of our defence. And if I was managing a team playing Liverpool next week, I'd be looking at doing exactly the same tactic. So I think that little axis of Richarlison, Digne, James, and probably Decore will sit a little deeper than James, but will make up the angles for the passing and working the ball into Digne to get the ball into the box. I see our right hand side of our defence, severely tested when Everton have the opportunity, and there'll be a danger from set pieces with the likes of Mina and Calvert-Lewin, who are physically strong and good in the air. And you only have to breathe on someone the wrong way these days, and it's a free kick, isn't it? So they're going to get an opportunity to put the ball in the box, I would imagine, on a number of occasions. That's where you need your Van Dijks to stand strong. That's where I think Fabinho might come into play, because he's a good aerial presence. But more importantly, we've got to start well, and Adrian has got to. The best thing that can happen is they put a ball in the box and he comes and takes it within the first couple of minutes, and he gets two solid gloves on it, takes it in, catches it, distributes it, and we have a little counter, because that will fill him with confidence, because at the moment the lad's got none. So those will be the threats, those will be the dangers from Everton for me, mate.
What about you, Jamie? Where do you think the dangers come from the Blue Boys?
Yeah, I mean, Everton, they've got threats all over the pitch, mate. They're a real menace. The obvious one, as Steve said, is James Rodriguez. He can conjure something up from nothing. Again, Decore, he's really good in transition. I mean, a lot of people sort of talk about the way he can break up play, but he's really good in transition. So, and he's not too bad with the ball either. But for me, my major concern, I think, is set pieces. They've got good quality in getting the ball into the box as well. And Yerry Mina, he's an absolute animal in the air. He could be a real threat, and it might be an area that they target, knowing that we've got a keeper who's a little shy on confidence. So they might be looking to test that. Again, it's where Van Dijk and whomever it is who ends up partnering with him, that's where they're going to need to come into their own, show a bit of strength. You're not going to struggle with that in terms of Van Dijk, of course, but we need to be really, really, really commanding. And again, with in agreement with Steve, best thing that can happen is an early ball in the box and Adrian coming out and making a claim for that one. I think that'll really sort of boost his confidence moving forward. But yeah, they got plenty of potential, mate. But what I'm a big advocate of focusing on your own strengths. At the end of the day, we're Liverpool, champions of the Premier League. We need to focus on our own strengths and make sure that we apply them accordingly. And I don't see that we're going to have too many problems in getting over the line, mate.
So, Steve, putting you on the spot here, what's the score going to be at Goodison?
I think we'll do well to keep them out. The form that they've got, I do see them scoring, but I also see us scoring. And I'm going to go with a 2-1. It'll be a close thing. I'm not sure who scores first, but I just think it'll be close. I don't think they're, like Jamie said before, I don't think their back four has yet to come up against the quality of our front three, and in particular, Mo Salah's flying at the moment. So he's gonna test them. Digne's great going forward, but like all brilliant attacking fullbacks, you sometimes raise questions about them defensively. The fact that he is such a threat might negate the threat of Digne a little bit. He might sit a bit deeper because that quick ball in behind him, and Salah's away. And Keane and Yerry Mina are not race horses, mate. They won't catch him. So important for them to worry about our threat as well as us worrying about what they have to offer. So I think 2-1. I think it'll be a cagey game. I hate derbies. I don't like watching them. They're too stressful, too intense. I grew up, my best friends over the years as a kid were Evertonians. You didn't like losing derbies, mate, because you never heard the end of it. And that's something that's stayed with me as I've got older. So, yeah, it'll be stressful, but I think it'll be close. I'm going 2-1.
Same question to you, Jamie. What do you think the score will be at Goodison?
I think it's going to be a real quick start. I'm gonna put my neck on the line. For some reason, I've got a feeling we're gonna drop a goal early doors. But I see it being open and quite expansive. I think a lot sort of depends on how Everton set up. If they're going to try and utilise their newly found strengths, as I say, and then sort of put a stamp on the game in an attacking sense. I could see it being really open, mate, and maybe a 3-2 Red Men.
What about you, mate? Ian, what are you going for?
I think, like Jamie, I think it'll be an open game. I think with the two keepers that are going to probably be in goal, I think 4-3, hopefully to us.
I couldn't cope, mate. Don't do that. I couldn't
That's
cope.
what I did.
I can't cope.
I can see a high-scoring game.
I couldn't
But
cope.
the Anfield Echo all predict a Liverpool win. So let's hope when we return after the international break and the game's been played, we're celebrating a Derby Day win.
Definitely.
All done.
Okay, bud.
Well done, lads.